गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजम् ब्रह्मणाम् ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं च शनीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम् ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। And everyone say Hare Ram Krishna 3 times. Om Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. Om Parasaraya Namaha 3 times. Om Parasaraya Namaha, Om Parasaraya Namaha, Om Parasaraya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha 3 times. Om Ghani Surya Aditya Om 3 times. Om Ghani Surya Aditya Om. Om Ghani Surya Aditya Om. Om Ghani Surya Aditya Om. Okay. We are in chapter 34, verse 38. Now we are not 38 actually, 35, 37. So we finished until Vrishtika. So verse 37, Dhanus. Yeka yeva kavih papah shubho bhauma divakarau yogo bhaskara somyabhyam nihanta bhaskaratmajah Guru samaphala ख्यातः शुक्रो मारकलक्षणः धनुर्लग्नोद्भवस्य एवं फलं ज्ञेयं विपश्चिता धनुर्लग्नोद्भवस्य एवं फलं ज्ञेयं विपश्चिता. So लग्नोद्भवस्य, somebody who was born in Dhanurlagna, Sagittarius ascendant, evam, like this, phalam gneyam, this should be seen, vipaschita, by a learned one. So Sagittarius, for Sagittarius, these are the results. What? Eka eva kavih papaha means Eka eva kavih papaha. Only Kavi is the male figure. Kavi is the only male figure. Kavi means poet. Venus. Venus is the poet. So Venus is the only male figure. There are no other male figures. Shubho bhauma divakarau. Shubho means two benefits. There are two benefits. Bhauma divakarau. Bhauma is Bhumi's son, Mars. Divakara is the one who causes the day. Diva means day. The one who causes the day, sun. So Mars and sun are the benefics. Why is Venus malefic? He owns 6th and 11th houses. So clearly he is a malefic. And why are Mars and sun benefics? Mars is the 5th and 12th lord. 12th is neutral. I mean 12th takes the shade of the other house owned. So if Mars is with malefic, being the 12th lord, he can work as a malefic also, but at least he has the 5th house. So he is partly benefic or mostly benefic, depending on other factors. Sun, he owns only 9th house, so he is a clear benefic. Sun is a clear benefic. Mars, it depends. But in general, he is prone to beneficence. So benefics are only Mars and Sun. The other, he mentioned only 3 planets here. Venus has malefic, Sun and Mars has benefic. Others basically he hasn't said. He will come to Jupiter, he will mention Jupiter being Samaphalaha, neutral, because he is Lagna Lord, but at the same time he owns a 4th house, which is not benefic for a benefic planet. So that makes him slightly malefic and Lagna makes him benefic. So overall he is a neutral planet, even though he is the Lagna Lord, for Sagittarius Lagna. And other planets like Moon, Mercury, he hasn't really mentioned. So we have to basically we have to see the other influences and then judge for the other planets. For example, Moon, depending on who he is with, he may give different results. And Saturn, he hasn't mentioned Saturn. Interesting. Yeah, Saturn is the 2nd and 3rd lord. So whether he is a benefic or malefic, he hasn't mentioned. But on account of the third house ownership, he is a malefic. On account of the second house ownership, he is neutral. So overall, he is a malefic. But it's not. But he mentioned only Yakayava Kavih Papa. Only Venus is malefic. So he's not really mentioning Saturn as a malefic here. He may be a neutral planet. But we have to realize that if Saturn is with a malefic planet, he can be malefic. Yogo Bhaskara Somyabhyam. Bhaskara Somyabhyam. Bhaskara is Sun. Somyabhyam, Mercury. Of Sun and Mercury. Yoga. The combination of Sun and Mercury gives Raj Yoga in this case. Because they are the 9th and 10th lords. So, they will give a Raj Yoga. Nihanta Bhaskaratmajaha. Clearly, Marka is Saturn. Of course, Mercury owning the 7th house could also be a Marka. But Saturn owns both 2nd and 3rd houses. So, on account of owning 2nd and 3rd house, he is a clear killer planet. So, Nihanta Bhaskaratmajaha. Saturn is the Marka. Guru Stamaphalas Khyataha. Jupiter is well known as neutral for this Lagna. Shukro Maraka Lakshanaha. Interesting. He's saying even Venus has killing ability. Why?
He's a malefic.
All malefics, if they are associated with the houses of life or death, 3rd, 8th, 2nd, 7th, they will become Markas. Any malefics. The clue here is, of course, Venus is the only functional malefic here, but apart from it, he is an enemy of the Lagna Lord. So if a functional malefic happens to be enemy of Lagna Lord, and he afflicts one of the houses of life or death, then the planet can kill. So Shukro Maraka Lakshanaha.
But he's a sixth lord, right?
Yeah, irrespective of the last.
He's not a Marka, the 7th is a Marka.
Lords of 7th and 2nd are Markas.
Right.
Or malefic planets afflicting 2nd and 7th are Markas.
Okay.
So suppose this Venus is in the 7th house, then he can be a Marka. So it's not just the lords of 2nd and 7th, even occupants are Markas. Aspectors also can become Markas, but that is weaker. Occupiers and lords, they are clear Markas. Especially for occupiers, the logic he gives later is, occupiers can be Markas provided they are malefics. And there people speculate as natural malefics, like Venus, Saturn, Mars, like that. But here there are several verses which are clarifying that it's functional malefics, not natural malefics.
Saturn, can he give, being the lord of longevity itself? I mean, he's the person who shows you long. So
Vitality. 3rd is not longevity, but it's vitality. 3rd is vitality, 8th is longevity. And the 7th is being the 12th from 8th, loss of longevity. And the 2nd is being the 12th from 3rd, the loss of vitality. So, okay. So, your question is being the lord of the house of vitality, can he give vitality? Yes, he can. But the thing is, he also owns the house of loss of vitality, removing it. So, he is basically owning both the houses. So, it depends on which one is stronger, which one he is well disposed to, which one has which planets, and how is he, what is his relation with those planets. So, depending on it, one of them may dominate. Somebody may have a house in Boston and also a house in Florida. So, where he lives or which one he pays more attention to, which one he renovates better, depends on who lives in it, what is the relationship with it, and where he is. Suppose he is near Boston, so he is working in Salem, so he can visit Boston House more frequently. So he is likely to keep the Boston House better maintained. So like that basically, depending on his relationship, is he in a Dusthana or a Trine or quadrant from the house, one of the two houses, from 3rd as well as from 2nd, how is he placed? And who are there? What is the relationship with Saturn? And what is their own agenda? So depending on those things, let's say the 11th Lord is in the 3rd house and he is a friend of Saturn, then Saturn may become more well disposed towards that planet and grant the wishes of that planet. So it depends on those factors. So these are the results for Sagittarius Lagna. Now Makara Lagna. Kujajivendavah papaha Shubho Bhargava Chandrajau Mandah Swayam na hanta syad hanti papa kujadayah Surya samaphala proktaha kavireka suyogakrut mrugalagnoddhavasya phalan juhyani suribihi kuja jivendavas papaha. Mars, kuja means Mars, jiva, Jupiter, Indavaha, moon. Mars, Jupiter and moon are papaha. They are malefics. Shubhau Bhargava Chandrajau. Venus and Chandraja. Who is Chandraja? Born from Chandra. Ja means born from. So Chandraja is born to moon. That is Mercury. So Mercury and Venus are benefics. Now why? Why is Mars, Jupiter and moon malefics? Mars is the lord of the 4th and 11th houses. 4th house is not so malefic for Mars, but 11th is malefic. So overall he is malefic. So Mars is a malefic planet. Jiva, clearly he owns 3rd and 2nd. Sorry, 12th. 3rd ownership is malefic, 12th ownership is mixed. He may be benefic or malefic depending on the relationships, depending on who he is with. But on account of owning the 3rd house, he can be a malefic. So overall he is a malefic. Hindu, moon, why is moon a malefic? 7th. Yeah, he is 7th lord. 7th house, his guidance, original guidance, generic guidance was 7th lordship is not really benefic for benefics, not really malefic for malefics. It's very vague. He wasn't specific on how it is. Kendra lordship. But the thing is, for moon, he is saying it is Papa. Irrespective of whether moon is Kshena Chandra or whether he is waning moon or waxing moon, see, based on whether he is waning moon or waxing moon, he may be natural benefic or natural malefic. He is not talking about that. In general, he is clubbing moon with malefics. Why?
It might be because of the relationship between the Lagna Lord and moon.
That is one factor, but that way that's not matching for all other things. Right? That's one factor. He is a friend of, he is not a friend, he is an enemy of the Lagna Lord, so that he is not well disposed to the Lagna. But that way, if you look at Surya Samapalaha comes later. Sunny is even worse enemy, and he is neutral. So why? So that is one factor.
Moon is aspecting Capricorn, Lord of Capricorn also, right?
Aspecting, we don't know where moon is.
I mean, Lord of the 7th house.
He is Lord of 7th house, that's all we know. And the guidance was, ownership of quadrants is not benefic for benefics, not malefic for malefics. So it could be either. He left it very vague. And he is clarifying using examples of various lagnas. So basically the thing is, the generic guideline followed by all the specific dictums, it basically tells you that there is more there. There is some logic there. So for example, we were seeing things like when a planet gives results based on association, Mercury is more prone to doing that than some other planet, like that, right? Like that, what is with moon owning the 7th house? Why does it make him malefic? What is the whole logic of malefics? Tell me. Why are 3, 6, 11 malefics? Why did we say it earlier? 11th is gains, getting what you wanted. So still it's malefic, because if a planet is in charge of giving you your desires, you getting what you wanted, the planet has to make you charged up. Basically, it's not something you relax. Getting what you wanted involves effort. Similarly, 3rd house gives desire. You want something. So when there is that passion that I need to do this, the drive causes fire inside you. Basically, these are the planets which are conducive, and 6th is fighting enemies, fighting obstacles. So these are basically the houses of proactively doing something and getting something. So you are basically going out to get something. So these planets who own these houses make you do things to get things. So they don't let you relax and be happy, just enjoy. They make you do things. On the other hand, triumph. They are blessings from the past life. Things just arranged for you like that. So from that point of view, trine lords are benefics, because the definition of benefic is somebody who doesn't make you work hard, or somebody who makes things easy for you. Whereas these malefics, 3, 6, 11 lords, they make things not easy for you, but it may be for your good. As a result, you may get something. Now quadrants. The thing with quadrants is, Konas are Lakshmi sthanas and quadrants are Vishnu sthanas. So Konas show just getting blessings, things happening easily. Kendras are houses of effort. 3, 6, 11 they are not necessarily either houses of effort or blessings, but these are houses of struggle. So to put it in simple words, houses of blessings are konas, houses of effort are quadrants, houses of struggle are 3, 6, 11. So from that point of view, and 2, 8, 12, they are in a different category. 8 is the house of changes, sudden changes, lot of ups and downs basically. And second is the house of how your resources are planned, and 12th is the house of how you give things, how you are forced to give. So those are neither blessings nor effort nor struggle. They are basically, they can be either, they can be any of them. So they are in a different category. But among other houses you have 3 categories. Houses of blessings, which are considered benefit. Houses of struggle, which are considered struggle or passionate effort. So those are considered malefic houses. On the other hand, houses of just effort, Vishnu sthanas, they are neither considered neutral nor considered, neither considered benefic nor considered malefic. It depends on the case by case. And general guideline is benefics are not necessarily benefic, because if a benefic planet owns a house of effort, he may make you put effort. Whereas a malefic planet owns it, he may not push you basically to put the effort. So it's not necessary. Basically, you can't go by the inherent nature of the planet. And we have seen examples where things are dicey. You have to basically look at the nature of the planet. Now, in the case of moon, these other houses like 10th house, etc., he didn't make it Papa. 4th house, 10th house. 7th, when moon wants, he made it Papa. Why?
Manaskaraka
Okay. Being the 7th Lord, what is the problem with it?
You will be desirous.
Yeah, very good.
You will be more and more.
Yeah.
You will be attached and desirous.
Yeah.
And for this Lagna, and the Lagna Lord being.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, that's it. You got it. He's the Lord of the house of desires, and he is the Karka of desires. Moon is the one. Moon is mind. She is where all the desires are rooted in. So moon is the Karka for desires, and if he owns the 7th house of desires, he will make your desires very, very strong. So the thing is, if you have strong desires, then it's almost like you have a strong drive or strong. Basically, it's like 3 and 11. 3rd house is the house of drive, 11th house is the house of fulfillment, and 7th house is the house of nurturing desire and putting some effort for it. So here, so the bottom line is, he is the Karaka. So for that reason, when we say when he is owning the 7th house, he is a malefic. Now let's say some other planet owns the 7th house, but let's say he is a friend of the Karaka of 7th house, and he is with Karaka of 7th house. Or let's say he is in the 7th house. Then the thing is, the planet will make the person nurture strong desires. Then you can consider him also to be a malefic. So basically, the bottom line is, whether it's a benefic or malefic, you have to judge qualitatively. It's not just a formula. These are just generic guidelines. So in any case, so bottom line is, depending on how well disposed the planet is towards fulfilling the agenda of 7th house, it may become malefic. So moon, when he owns the 7th house, being the Karaka of 7th house, he will make the person have strong desires. So when the desires are strong, it's basically like, now it's like you can put that house in the house of struggle basically. Because you are so attached to something. The moon makes the person so attached to some desire shown by the 7th house. So when you are so attached to it, you are basically putting yourself in a disadvantageous position. But of course, at the end of it, you may get something. But you don't just sit back and relax. You basically do something about it. So for that reason, Mars, Jupiter and Moon are the malefic. Shubhau, Bhargava, Chandrajau. Venus and Mercury are benefic. Venus, clearly, he owns 5th and 10th houses. 10th house ownership is not that great, but he owns the 5th house. So overall, he is a benefic. And Chandraja, Mercury is a benefic. Why? He owns the 9th house, but also 6th house. Though he owns 6th and 9th houses, he is a friend of Saturn. So he owns one malefic house, one benefic house. So the lesson is, when you have both the influences, you go by whether the planet is a friend of the Lagna Lord or not. So because he is a friend, he is said to be a benefic. Mandas swayam nahanta syat. Mandah swayam nahanta syat. Saturn shall not be killer by himself. Saturn himself, Mandra Swayam, Saturn himself is not a killer. Why? Why is he even talking about Saturn being a killer?
Second house.
Second lord. Second lord can be a killer, but he is also Lagna lord. So being the Lagna lord, he by himself won't be a killer. Hanti papaha kujadayaha. Mars except the male fix, they will kill when they are male fix. When they are associated with the second and seventh houses. So Mars, Moon and Jupiter can be killers if they are in proper houses.
Or Saturn being with them could also mean
Yes. Saturn by himself he said. So when he is with some other planet, maybe he can be a killer. Surya Stama Phalasproktaha. Sun is a neutral planet. Why? Well, he is the eighth lord. So he said he is neutral. But the thing is, if Sun is with male fix, he could be a male fix also, going by his earlier instruction. But the thing is, when he specifically mentions Samaphala because even if that Sun is with benefics, he may not really become benefic. The eighth lord is supposed to become benefic or malefic based on association. But Sun is an enemy of Saturn. So even if he is with benefic, it's unlikely that he will become a benefic for Capricorn Lagna. So either he is neutral or malefic. That's basically what he means by Samaphala. Kavirekaha Suyogakrit. And Yogakaraka is Venus alone. In other words, 10th and 9th lord combination, Mercury and Venus being together, he's not mentioning it to be a yoga giving combination because even though Mercury is a benefic, he also wants the 6th house. So being the 6th lord, he's being together with Venus, the 5th and 10th lord. It's not really that much of a Rajoga. So he's playing down the Rajoga given by 9th and 10th lords for Capricorn Lagna. But Venus alone is Yokaraka. So Venus can give good results.
Might be also because Mercury and Venus are not really in tandem with each other or they're not friends with each other.
No, they are. Mercury and Venus are friends. So that's not the reason. It's simply that 6th is a malefic house. So if 6th lord is with one of the quadrant or trine lords, it's actually a Duryoga. 6th lord and 10th lord being together is not. So basically, there are several Daridra Yogas and Duryogas given by the 6th and 6th lord, 12th lord, etc. So from that point of view, even though he wants 9th house, because he also wants the 6th house, the Rajoga given by him is tainted. It's not really pure. So he is not mentioning it here. The next one is Jiva Chandra Kuja. So Mruga Lagnodbhava Sevam Phalan Yuhan will be. By scholars, the results of the Sagittarius ascendant people should be imagined like this. The next verse. Jiva Chandra Kuja Papa Shukra Suryatmaja Shubhau Raja Yoga Karogneya Kavireva Brahaspatihi Suryo Bhomasya Hantaro Budho Madhyaphalasprataha Kumbha Lagnodbhavasyavam Phalan Yuhyani Suribhi. Suribhi by scholars, Phalani results, Uhyani should be imagined like this. Imagine, Evam like this, Kumbha Lagnodbhavasya. For Aquarius ascendant, Aquarius rising person, results should be imagined like this by learned people. How? Jiva Chandra Kujaha Papaha. Jiva Chandra Kujaha, same as before. Jupiter, Mars and Moon. Why? Jiva. Jupiter owns 2nd and 11th houses. 2nd is neutral, but 11th is male fix. So overall he is male fix. But the qualification is if the Jupiter is with benefics, functional benefic, he may become benefic, depending on whether 2nd or 11th which dominates. Does he act more as 2nd lord or more as 11th lord? Based on it, he may become benefic, little bit benefic. But still he is not a friend of the Lagna lord. So overall he is mentioned as a malefic. Jiva Chandra, Moon. Moon is the 6th lord, so malefic, no question. Kujaha, Mars owns 10th house and 3rd house. So 3rd makes him malefic, 10th is neutral, not that malefic. But on account of owning the 3rd house, he is malefic. So overall Mars is a malefic. And moreover, he is Lagna lord's enemy. Papaha, Shukra Suryatmajau Shubhau. Shukra, Venus. Venus is 4th and 9th lord. A quadrant and trine lord, he is a Yokaraka. And fourth ownership is not so benefic, but ninth ownership is benefic. So overall he is a benefic. Suryatmaja. Who is Suryatmaja? Surya's son. Saturn. So Venus and Saturn are benefic. So Saturn being the Lagna Lord and 12th Lord. 12th is depends on the other thing, other house owned and other planets who are with the planet. So he owns Lagna, so he is a benefic. Unless he is really badly affected by malefic, in which acts more as the 12th Lord, then he can become malefic. Otherwise he is a benefic. Suryo bhaumasya hanta, no, we missed this. Raja yoga karo gneyah kavireva brahaspatihi. Raja yoga karo gneyah kavireva brahaspatihi. Something is here. Gneyaha. I was thinking Gneha in my mind. Grammar is messed up. It's not Gneha, it is Gneyaha. Gneha is Mercury. Gneyaha means to be known. So Rajyo Karaha Gneyaha Kavireva. So only Venus, Kavireva, only Venus Gneyaha is known to be Rajyoga Kara. The one giving Rajyoga. Only Venus will give Rajyoga because he is the Yokarka, 4th and 9th Lord. And 9th and 10th Lord combination is not great because Venus and Mars, they are enemies. And Mars is a functional malefic. So they being together is not really a great Rajyoga. So only Venus is the one who gives yoga. He is the Yokarka. Brahaspatihi. Brahaspatihi, Suryo, Bhaumasya Hantaro. Jupiter, Sun and Mars are killers. Why? Brahaspati being the second lord and the enemy of Lagna Lord. Sun being the second lord, seventh lord and being the enemy of Lagna Lord. And why finally Mars? He is the third lord of vitality. So the third and eighth lords, they are actually givers of life, not really killers. So why is he mentioned? Why is he mentioned here?
Because he is a malefic who is associated with giving longevity and giving vitality.
Because he is a malefic associated with the house of vitality. And moreover he is an enemy of the Lagna Lord. So if one of the planets who are supposed to give vitality are not really friends with the Lagna Lord, they may be problematic. Because they are responsible for giving you longevity and vitality and they are not really friendly. So they may give problems. And here he is not an enemy, not a friend of Saturn, he is an enemy of Saturn. And moreover, like you said, he is a malefic. So those two together, he can be a killer. But the thing is, for him to be a strong killer, if he is associated with the second or seventh house, then he becomes a strong killer. Budho Madhyapalasprataha. Mercury is known as neutral, medium kind of results. Why? He is the eighth lord and fifth lord. Fifth is good, but eighth is
association and
based on the other house and association. So associations can be good. So he can actually be a good planet. But the thing is,
for here it is neutral or benefic. He cannot be malefic.
Exactly. He being the fifth lord, even if he is ill associated, he will basically be neutral. Otherwise, if he is well associated, he is a benefic. That's what we mean by Majaphala here. Okay, this is done. Now last one. Manda Shukram Anshumat. Manda Shukram Shumat Saumyah Papa Bhauma Vidhu Shubhau Mahisuta Guru Yoga Kara Kaucha Mahisutah Marako Pina Hantasau Mandagnau Marakau Spratau Meena Lagnodbhavasyavam Phalani Paricintaye Manda Shukram Shumat Saumyaha Manda Shukran Sumat Mandra Shukra Anshumat. Anshumat means one with Amshus. Amshu means Kiranas, rays. So the one with the rays. Manda Shukra Anshumat. Manda,
Saturn.
slow moving one. Saturn. Shukra, Venus, Sun. Anshumat, Sun. Somyaha. Somyaha means Mercury. Soma's Sun. These are the Papaha. These are the malefics. So a lot of them. Saturn, Venus, Sun and Mercury. Mercury because he wants 2 quadrants. So he is a benefic and he wants 2 quadrants. So that makes him malefic. And Saturn because he wants 12th and 11th house. So 11th house ownership makes him evil. But on owning the 12th house, if he is well associated with benefics, he may become neutral. But he is more disposed towards being a malefic planet. So Saturn, moreover, he is an enemy of Jupiter. So Saturn is malefic. Shukra, Venus is 3rd and 8th lord. 3rd lord, malefic, 8th, association. So association, if it is good, he can be neutral, but still he is an enemy of Jupiter. So overall, he will be either malefic or slightly neutral. So Venus is a malefic. Sun, 6th lord, so malefic. Even though he is a friend of Jupiter, a good friend of Jupiter, still he is a malefic. So Mercury we said, so these are the malefic. Bhauma Vidhu Subhau. Bhauma Vidhu Subhau. Vidhu means moon. Bhauma means Bhumi sun, Mars. So moon and Mars are benefics. Why? Trine lords. Moon owns 5th house. Mars owns 9th house. Even though he also owns the 2nd house, which gives results based on the other house and the associations. So if Mars is associated with malefics, he can become neutral. But otherwise he is benefic. So he is between neutral to benefic. Mahisuta Guru Yoga Karakaucha Mahisuta. Mahisuta Guru Yoga Karakaucha. Mahisuta Guru. Mahisuta Guru. Mahisuta means Mahi sun. Mahi means earth. So son of earth, Mars. Mahisuta Guru means Jupiter. Mars and Jupiter Yoga Karakau. They will give yoga. 9th and 10th lords. If they are together, they will give Raj Yoga because they are friends and both of them are benefics. I mean, he actually didn't mention whether Jupiter is benefic or not, but he wants a quadrant and also Lagna. So he is neutral. He is either neutral or slightly benefic in the case of Jupiter. So he didn't mention. So when he doesn't mention, it means he is neutral. He didn't mention him as either benefic or malefic. So he is neutral but slightly benefic. So still being the Lagna Lord and being slightly benefic, he can give a Raj Yoga when he is with Mars. And Mars is a benefic. Now Mahisutaha Marakopi Nahanta Asau. Asau Mahisutaha Marakopi Nahanta. This Mars, Asau this, Mahisutaha Mars, Marakopi, Marakaha, killer, Maraka, Api. Though he is a Maraka, based on the definition, Nahanta, he doesn't kill. He may be said to be Maraka, but he doesn't really kill. You can call him killer, but he doesn't really kill. In other words, Mars Dasha won't kill. Mars is not really a killer. Just a theoretical on the paper killer. In reality, he won't kill. Why? Because he is a benefic and a friend of Lagna Lord. Though he wants the 2nd house, he is a benefic and friend of Lagna Lord. So he is unlikely to kill, unless they are really bad afflictions. Mandagnyau Marakaus. Mandagnyau Marakaus. Manda Gna means Mercury. Nover. Manda means Saturn. Saturn and Mercury are Markas. Why Saturn? Why Saturn?
So 11th and 12th lords.
Yeah, he is a malefic, but why?
Both combined or Markas, sir?
Huh?
Both combined or Markas, or both can be Markas?
No, he says both of them are known as Markas. Why is Saturn a Marka? Why is Saturn a Marka? Why is Saturn a Marka? no real strong reason. The only thing we can think of is he's an enemy of Lagna Lord. He's a functional male fix. Out of the functional male fix, we have Venus, Saturn, Sun, and Mercury. Mercury is not really an enemy of Jupiter. He is neutral. But anyway, still being the seventh lord, he's a killer. Now, out of the other three male fix, Saturn, Venus, and Sun. Sun, he's a friend of Jupiter. He's a friend of Lagna Lord. So he's unlikely to kill.
Sun is the sixth lord.
I know, he's a male fix.
Okay, male.
But he's not owning a Marka house. So male fix planets can become Markas, depending on their association. But the thing is, Sun is a friend of Jupiter. So it is difficult for Sun to be a killer.
Venus can be a killer.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Venus, he's a male fix, but he owns both the houses of vitality and longevity. Owning the house of vitality and longevity, his agenda is to give vitality and longevity.
He hates the Lagna Lord.
He doesn't like the Lagna Lord, but he's a nice guy. He's a benefic planet, natural benefic. He's not a functional benefic, natural male fix. So being a natural benefic, he's a nice person. He's dignified basically. So, and the job given to him is give vitality and give longevity to the person. So he's unlikely to kill, unless he's badly afflicted. So Venus, out of the functional male fix, Venus is unlikely to kill. Sun is unlikely to kill. So Manda is left, Saturn. So he is one functional male fix who has potential to kill. So the thing is, when he says Mandagno Marako, he's not saying Manda is unqualified killer. What he means is, he can be a killer when he is associated with second and seventh houses. Mercury, irrespective of association, being the seventh lord, he is a killer.
But that can be said with Venus also, right?
Huh?
Can't that be said with
Venus, when he is associated with second or seventh house, he may be a killer, but still, because he owns the two houses of longevity and vitality, both of them he owns, not even one, he is unlikely to be a killer for this Lagna. So he wasn't specifically pointed out. But Saturn is more likely to be a killer if he is associated with one of these houses, second or seventh. So from that point of view, he is mentioning Saturn. So these are the results for Meena Lagnodbhavasya evam phalani paricintayet. We should give paricintayet means, chintayet means you should think. Paricintayet means you should carefully contemplate and think. So he is basically, the word, by adding the prefix pari, it basically becomes a very contemplative process. So he's not saying, look at this table, look up table and then print out a result. He's not saying that. He's saying, contemplate like this carefully. Pari basically means repeated. Pari is used to get whatever the verb or you have after it. When you add the prefix pari, it basically adds some kind of repetitiveness to it. Either repetitiveness or continuity. Continuous long process. Pari vidhamula. Pari means, it can also mean many. Okay. So, phalan paricintayat. Like this you should think of you should contemplate and think the results. Okay, there are two more general verses at the end. We are done with all the lagnas. There are a couple of verses. We will finish them. And then we can start with a new chapter next week. Evam bhavadhipatyena janma lagnavachadiha shubhatvam ashubhatvam cha grahanam pratipaditam anyanapi punaryogan nahasadin vichintyavai dehinaja phalam vacham pravakshyami chatanaham. Evam bhavadhipatyena. Like this, by ownership of the houses. Janma lagna vachadiha. Based on the janma lagna. The ascendant, rising ascendant at the time of birth ascendant. Like this, shubhatvam adhvatvam cha. Maleficence and maleficence, grahanam of planets, pratipaditam. It is, pratipaditam means it is proposed. The beneficence and maleficence of planets based on lagna is proposed based on the houses owned by them. Anyanapi punar yogan. And other yogas also, Navasadin, Navasa yogas, etc., yogas which I am going to mention in the next chapter, those also, Vichintyavai, considering those yogas also, Dehinam cha phalam vachyam. For living beings, phalam vachyam, results should be spoken. Pravakshyami cha tanaham. I'll tell you those yogas also now. So he's saying these are the generic goodness or badness of planets based on the houses owned and lagna, based on the lagna. In addition, there are other yogas that you have to consider, which may modify the beneficence or maleficence of planets, which I am going to mention to you. So that all these yogas, Navas yogas, there are different kinds of yogas, right? So all these yogas will be mentioned in the next chapter. So
they will, at some point of time, they have a chance to override what he has just mentioned in this chapter, is what he's saying.
Yes, this line basically is suggesting, this verse is suggesting, this is generic guideline. Based on the houses owned, these are the benefits and maleficence. This is how they are proposed. But looking at the yogas, etc., then you should give the results. So basically,
combine these two.
Yeah, they are basically like either enhance it or suppress something. So that is what he is hinting here, even though that is not how we normally use them. That is what Parashara is clearly hinting here. So with that I will end. So we will see the example that Seshu wanted to see. Somebody had another example that you wanted, right? Okay.
I have.
Okay, if possible we will see that, but we will see Seshu's example first. We are seeing an example chart, and let me open the chart that Seshu emailed. The birth data is 1963, September 16, 10:40 a.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT. The place is Secunderabad, India. 78 degrees 30 minutes east, 17 degrees 27 minutes north. One more Secunderabad chart from Seshu. He gives so many Secunderabad charts. Let me open the chart notes that I saved from the mail. So he said, she's a branch manager at Andhra Bank in Bombay. She seems to go through some tough time with some clients on some transactions. I know she is very disciplined and sincere and honest to the highest order. One of bank's high-profile clients phoned her to sell his gold deposit and clear a loan of his, which she didn't trust, and that evening she had the client to come in and sign all the paperwork to complete the documentation. Since the gold rate has gone up late, now the client says that the manager sold the gold before he signed and say they have forced him to sign the document and put him into a loss. He seems to threaten her from police, probable bribing police, saying that she told the gold before document signing and cheated the client. She wants to know, is there any potential legal issues and court hassles, etc., and what she can do. Okay. I looked at the chart and advised her that until first week in December, she will have some tension and support from bosses will be withdrawn, etc. The period from then to Jan 24th will be marginally better, and then March influence, she will fight back and recover. Okay. Advised her to propitiate Rahu, suggested Dum Durgaye Namaha. She seems to wear 1 carat ruby ring. I don't think she should have it now. In TP, Sun is in 8th house. I have not advised any on this. Can I request confirmation of both the above? Okay. So this is a mail from Seshu. Okay, we'll see. So this lady is a bank manager in Andhra Bank in Mumbai, and somebody called her, a big client called her to sell the gold deposit he had, and she sold it, and the person had to come in the evening to sign the papers after it was already sold. He signed the papers and then it was done. And later he said she sold before he signed the paperwork, and then because they already sold by themselves, he was forced to sign the papers, so he's threatening to sue them. So she is concerned if there is a court case or not. Okay, let us go to the Dashamsha. First of all, the Lagna should be Scorpio in the 3rd degree, 2 degrees 33 minutes, and
3 degree 3
Yeah, 1 second. 10:40, right?
Sir.
Lagna should be 3 degrees 3 minutes Scorpio, and moon should be 10 degrees 7 minutes Leo. Let's see if the chart makes sense. Does the chart make sense at all? So, does she... What is the Dasha running right now? What is the Dasha running right now? If you just use the
Rahu.
Vishwatri Dasha. She is running Rahu Mahadasha. Okay. And does the career make sense? Do you see a banker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Why?
And
Why is she a bank manager?
Not, my intention was to say that she will have a flourishing career just because her 9th lordship and 10th lordship are together. Seeing the Rasi...
Yeah, in the Rashi chart,
the
9th lord and 10th lord are together.
Very strong in the 10th house.
Yeah.
And Sun being the lord of the 10th house, he basically has the Digbala also. So, it's
So 10th lord is in 10th house and with good Digbala.
strong in good karma in this
good.
chart. But
Yeah.
Dasamsa is...
And in the Dasamsha, do you see a manager, a bank manager? Which house shows career?
10th.
Yeah?
10th has
Second, 6th and 10th. But in
Yeah.
this case,
Yeah.
10th here has Sun and Saturn.
Yeah.
Lagna Lord is in 10th, right? So, Sun.
Yeah, here also Sun has, but he's with retrograde Saturn,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah, go ahead.
for a banking career, it has to do something has to be related to Jupiter.
Jupiter is in general finance.
Finance.
And Mercury is accounting, etc. So depending on what kind of work somebody does in the bank. And Saturn just shows routine work also. So a lot of people who work in banks and do some routine stuff, they do have Saturn influence also.
The 10th house, Sun basically shows her that she might be wherever she is, she might be...
10th house?
Yeah, it is really in the 10th house or like the soul level.
Yeah. We'll see that. So he is... So Saturn is really in the 10th house. Sun is also in the 10th house. Now 10th Lord Venus will show some kind of... Venus stands for some kind of micromanagement, project management, managing people very closely. And he is with Jupiter. 10th Lord is with Jupiter. So there is and in a Mercury house. So there is a Mercury and Jupiter influence on
10th Lord.
On 10th Lord. And the 10th house has Saturn in it. He is the 6th Lord also. So being the 6th Lord in 10th house, he can give a routine career. So starting out as a clerk in a bank or something is quite possible. And then Sun is the Lagna Lord, Sun is in 10th house with good Digbala. So Lagna Lord, Sun in the 10th house can give a managerial career.
Public facing.
Yeah, governing basically job, managerial position. But because Venus influence is also there, she may be doing administration as well as some kind of low level management. Both will be there. If it is Sun, it is like a king, sit back and delegate tasks. If it is Venus, it is basically carefully plan everything and manage. All the low level management basically. Going through all the details, making sure that everything is fine. Because both the influences are there, it may be both basically. So somebody with authority at the same time doing micromanagement. So, so basically somebody who started as a clerk or something and then grew into a manager does make sense. Right? Okay. Now, in addition, apart from it, what I want to see is banking environment is shown by Mercury, right? Mercury is the one who shows the environment of banks, accounting, all that. Now the thing is, apart from the 10th house, if you look at A10, that shows the actual work environment, right? So if you look at A10 in Dasamsha, where is it?
Capricorn, sir.
It's in Capricorn at 15 degrees. Right? Capricorn 15 degrees. And if you look at Mercury, where is he in
D10?
D10? 12 degree, 21 minutes Cancer. So if you look at his aspect on A10, it will be like some 95, 96% aspect. So Mercury has a very powerful aspect on A10. So, you get it?
Yes, sir.
So, Mercury has a very strong aspect. Actually, we can check how much aspect. if you look at the planetary aspect evaluation, D10,
97.78%.
see, that's what I was guessing, something of the order of 96% or so. So 97 something you said. Let me also check. So A10, his aspect is 97.8% aspect. So very strong, nearly 100% aspect. Mercury is having on A10. So with Mercury aspecting A10, Mercury shows, it can show press, it can show communications, it can show banks where accounting is done, so all that kind of things. So definitely working in a bank is possible. It is a possibility based on what we know. Now, what is the period she is running right now? Why is she having a trouble? So basically what I was trying to say is, we know, oh by the way, apart from Mercury, if you look at who is the other planet having biggest influence on A10, if you go back to that, you will see that Jupiter has 87% aspect. Mercury has 98% and Jupiter has 87%. They are the biggest influences on A10. And Mars, even though he is in A10, he is actually in the 12th house from A10, if you look at the longitudes. So Mars doesn't really count. So the biggest influence on A10 is Jupiter and Mercury. So both of them, Jupiter shows a lot of money, etc., dealing with money, and Mercury shows a lot of counting, calculation, etc., dealing with them. So both the planets are influencing. So this A10 in the Dashamsa clearly supports somebody who works in a banking environment. And like I say always, A10 shows the actual physical, tangible aspects of the career. Where you are working, what kind of place you are working, what kind of work you are, tangible aspects of it you can see. Okay.
This makes more sense than Venus.
Venus being with Jupiter, right?
Yes, sir.
And the 10th Lord, theoretically, what 10th Lord shows is, 10th Lord shows how you apply yourself in your work. So, because the planet is Venus, somebody who worries about all the details and somebody who has everything nicely planned out, that kind of a person. That is how she works. She applies herself in the work. 10th Lord is how you apply yourself in the work. And 18 is the environment in which you work, the tangible environment in which you work. Okay, so let's go back to the Dasha. What is the Dasha running right now?
Rahu.
Rahu Dasha started recently, couple of years back, still Rahu. What is the Pratyanta Dasha? Does he mention when the problem occurred?
Not.
He didn't mention the date of the event.
No.
Okay, let's assume it's recent.
3-month window, it's Rahu moon, sir.
Yeah, Rahu moon. It is happened in Rahu moon. Rahu moon. Okay. Is there any possibility of some tension in Rahu moon Antardasha? Is it a good Antardasha, bad Antardasha? First of all, let us see if the scope of this event is Antardasha or Pratyantadasha. Is it limited to, is it a major event in the Pratyantadasha or is it something that will affect the whole Dasha or Antardasha? Suppose this will make her lose her job and be on the street, then it affects the whole Dasha. Suppose this will give some lawsuit and then she has to go to court and then fight for a couple of years and then be acquitted. It affects the Antardasha. This is a major event in the Antardasha. Suppose she is just worried and then the guy talks to her a few times, threatens, and then nothing happens. Then this is basically a 4-5 months kind of event. So the thing is, not every event has the same scope. Some events, they affect whole life. Some events affect a big period. So depending on how big an event it is in her mind, you have to see it from the Pratyantadasha or Antardasha or Mahadasha. So this Pratyantadasha is from September 20 till December 10. So does Pratyantadasha explain the event? Actually, let's step back. Does Antardasha explain the event? In Rahu Antardasha, do you expect the event? Rahu is 7th Lord in 7.
It shows, because the 7th house is getting activated, it shows something that's happening to 6th house. I mean, for example, 6th house of her career, 6th house of her.
Yeah. Right.
So 7th house still really shows that something is happening which is possibly making the 7th factor more And Rahu.
Seventh can show own business, but because she is in a service, she is working for a bank. Basically, from the sixth house as Lagna, this is second lord in the second house, Marka.
Clear.
So there is a problem to the career actually.
So
in the Rahu Dasha.
In the whole Rahu Dasha itself, it
is a problematic Dasha. Right?
Yep.
On the other hand, if you look at the previous Mars Dasha, he is in the sixth house of service. So it is a good Dasha. Moreover, he is a Yokarka for Simhalagna, friend of Sun. So that's a good Dasha.
And when Rahu for this particular Rasi, for this particular Lagna in Rasi is not a great planet.
Yes, he's a malefic planet.
Yeah. He's a malefic planet to begin with. And
yeah.
He's of seventh.
So if she wants to do her own business, this is a great time. So this is probably a time when she should think of business, own business. But anyway, we'll come to that later because that's not what she asked. So it is of some concern. This can have some long-term implications. And why is Moon Pracheta Dasha some tension happening? Moon is in the fourth house of peace of mind. Sukhasthana.
Debilitated moon.
Huh?
It's a debilitated moon.
Debilitated moon and 12th lord.
Yeah.
He's not a benefic. He is the 12th lord. 12th house of losses, compromises, etc. So that planet, being in the fourth house of peace, he is giving loss of mental peace. That is one thing. Second thing, see from Dasha Lord Rahu. You see from Dasha Lord Rahu. From Rahu always count reverse. Because Rahu's world is reverse. So from Rahu he is in the fourth house again.
Eighth lord.
But he is the eighth lord. So one way he is the 12th lord in the fourth house, other way he is the eighth lord in the fourth house. Both the ways he is a Dusthana lord in the fourth house of Sukha, comfort, peace. So he gives some lack of peace. Moreover, Moon is the Karaka for mental peace and he is debilitated in the Sukhasthana. So there will be some lack of mental peace. There will be some lack of direction, some confusion, some anxiety. So that makes sense. Moreover, Scorpio is a very evil sign. So overall, that makes sense. There is some problem, some lack of mental peace in the Moon Pracheta Dasha. But the coming Mars Pracheta Dasha, will it be any better? What do you think? What we concluded is Rahu Dasha overall is bad for service. Rahu Antardasha overall is also bad for service. But what we want to see is that bad given by some other event, not this basically. Maybe this will be active for a couple of months and then die. And then something else will happen. She will say, I don't want to do this, man. I just want to have a business. Or somebody gives a proposal. Some friends basically say, why don't we start a small bank or small business, small accounting firm or whatever, based on her expertise. Maybe that is a different track, maybe not related to this event. So from that point of view, we have to see the next Pracheta Dasha. So the next Pracheta Dasha of Mars, how is it? How is the next Pracheta Dasha? From Lagna, Mars is the sixth house of service, he is Yokarka, he is good. But from Rahu, how is he? He is the fourth and 11th lord in the second house. So, he is not great, but he doesn't show any fall or anything. He doesn't show any terrible fall.
But same Mars is the Lagna Lord and the sixth Lord in the Rasi chart.
Yeah.
So he's still showing the sixth Lordship in the Rasi chart.
Yes. And from Lagna, natal chart also, in the Dashamsha chart also, from Lagna he is fine. He is Yokarka in the sixth house. So he should do good for the job. So it doesn't seem like in Mars Pracheta Dasha she will give up this job or she will done it. Huh?
She has to overcome a lot of obstacles.
Because Mars is in the sixth house. Some fighting will be there. But it doesn't seem like she will lose her job or she will leave her job in this period. So Moon is giving some tension. Mars will give some fighting, but successful fighting.
Mars is from the 12th from the 8th also.
Yeah. So he shows some compromises relating to job, etc. But having said that, he is Yokarka for Lagna. So for career, he is not really ill placed.
The career.
So the thing is, my take is, on the other hand, if you look at Jupiter, he is in the 11th house and he aspects the 7th house. So being in the 11th house and aspecting the 7th house, and being the 8th lord of change, he may make her go to something else, change the job, or maybe go into service or be a contractor. So that kind of thing, or independent consultant. So Jupiter is more likely to do that than current Rahu under Dasha. So my gut feeling is this Rahu Rahu Moon, Rahu Rahu Mars is unlikely to destabilize the career. It will cause problems. There will be some tremors, but not earth-shattering earthquake in her career. Some tremors, that's it. So my take is it's not really that bad. Now that we see this is a short-term thing, not really a long-term thing, let us go to Tithi Pravesh, the annual chart.
Rahu is also in the 8th house in Rasi chart. There is really showing something.
Yeah, he's in the 8th house. So some sudden development, some tension is there.
This came as a sudden development, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's see the Tithi Pravesh chart of current year. October 6, 2010.
October. Did this happen before October or after October?
We don't know, but let's assume it's recent, and more importantly, let's look at the future.
Okay.
So let us see how is Dashamsha this year.
Hora Lord is Saturn.
Saturn is the Hora Lord, Lagna is Aries in Dashamsha.
Okay.
See, in the Rashi chart, there are 3 planets in the 8th house. Sun, Mercury and Saturn. Sun at 19 degree Virgo, Mercury is at 11 degree, Saturn is at 14 degree. So actually Saturn is affecting both Mercury and Sun. So Mercury, Sun, Saturn combination. So it's not a great combination. It's in the 8th house. So some tensions, this is not a great year. Moreover, Saturn is Hora Lord. So Hora Lord is in the 8th house with the 8th Lord and with enemy Sun and Maraka Sun. So this will give some suffering. This is not a good year at all, the current year. Dashamsha, how is Dashamsha? Is there relief there? By the way, health can suffer. When 8th house is so badly placed, there can be some health problems, unexpected health problems. So what about the Dashamsha? Dashamsha Lagna is Aries. It has Mars, Rahu and Venus. Is that good?
No.
Which house are they in? Mars is in the 1st house, Rahu is in the 12th house,
Oh, okay.
Venus is in the 12th house. So Venus and Rahu are in the 12th house, but Mars is in Lagna. So that's actually not bad. Lagna Lord Mars is in Lagna, and Venus Rahu affliction is very weak. So Mars is the savior. He is in Lagna, so he is the savior. Right? Okay. Now what is the Dasha running right now? When the year started, it was running, she was running Venus Dasha. Is that a good Dasha?
No.
No.
It's
Because
Marka Dasha.
he's a Marka for Dashamsha.
Clear Marka.
He's a clear Marka for Dashamsha, and he's in the 12th house of losses and compromises. So, and he is with Bhadaka Lord Rahu. So being Marka and being with Bhadaka Lord Rahu and being in the 12th house of loss, he can give problems. So,
Problems alone, sir.
huh?
Okay, problem. I'm just looking at Rasi to see if Venus shares
Yeah.
similar implications there also. That might strengthen
Yeah.
it or
He is okay. He's basically the Yokarka and Rasi. So he doesn't show anything really that terrible physically. But in career he is showing problems. The thing is later, career may settle down, but physically as a result of it, she may get some health problems later. We'll see. So,
one small question, sir.
yeah.
Seeing the 10th lordship in Rasi and seeing how it is placed in D10, is
Yeah.
it not applicable?
It is applicable. So 10th Lord is Mars and he is the Lagna Lord in Lagna in Dashamsha. So overall, you don't see a fall in career or something. And in the 8th house of changes, I don't know if they are actually in the 8th house, but in Scorpio you have Sun and Jupiter. Actually Jupiter is in the 12th house, Sun is also in the 12th house. Okay. So Sun and Jupiter are in the 7th house.
Oh.
And they are aspecting, they are in the 7th house if you look at the house, at the end of the 7th house. So, they are not really in the 8th house. And if Lagna, time is slightly wrong, and Lagna is a little bad, Jupiter will be in the 8th house. But the thing is, he is a benefic. He is a functional benefic. Sun is also functional benefic. So they are fine there. So overall, Jupiter's presence near the 8th house. Even if he is in the 8th house, it will only show good changes. There will be sudden developments, but they will be good. They will not be
So the
bad.
ninth lordship.
Yeah. So overall, my take is there are no serious bad combinations here. A combination that will make you say, okay, she's going to lose job, or there's a big fall in the career. Nothing like that. The only thing is Venus and Rahu in the 12th house is not good. Maraka Venus and Badhaka Rahu together in the 12th house from Lagna and both in inimical sign, Mars sign. That is the bad thing. But luckily the thing is Venus Dasha is over. Only when Rahu Dasha comes at the end of the year, she has to be careful. So short term looks good. Sun is running right now. Sun is the 5th Lord in the 7th house in a friendly sign. You should be fine. There is no big problem. Good things may happen. And then Moon. Moon is exalted. Probably in the 1st house or 2nd house maybe. 2nd house. Yeah, 2nd house. So Moon is exalted in the 2nd house. 4th Lord of mental peace, exalted. That is good. And in a Venusian sign. So Moon gives mental peace after December 6th. So Sun gives some lucky break and Moon gives some mental peace. And then Mars comes after January 24th. That should basically, any doubts there are, it should basically put them to rest. So overall, things will be increasingly get better. So if not earlier, by February 20, things will be solved. So my feeling is she has nothing really to worry. Things are going to be fine. So not really to worry much. I don't think she has anything really to worry. She can prepare her because in the Vimshottari Dasha, the Prachanda Dasha to come is that of Mars, who is in the 6th house. There may be a little bit of fighting required, but the thing is, once she prepares, she will be all set. And Tithi Pravesh is not really showing a lot of fighting, etc. So overall, combining both, all those threats may not really mean much. The person may be threatening, but not really do much. So good luck to her. And any propitiation she can do. Let's see. By the way, she is wearing ruby, he said, right?
Yeah, Sun is good for her.
Sun is good for her career. So ruby is a good idea.
And here also the next Dasha is of
Forget about the Dasha. Tithi Pravesh, you don't care when you wear rings. But based on the natal chart, he is the 10th Lord. In Dashamsha also, he is Lagna Lord in 10th. So wearing a ruby is good for her managerial career. In general, it's good for her career, particularly managerial career. So keep the ruby, no problem. Only thing is, I don't know where she is wearing it. The best to wear will be the middle finger, even though people normally wear ruby on the ring finger. But because ring finger is the Dharma Trikona finger, little finger is the Kama, and the index finger is Moksha, middle finger is Artha. So, because Sun is the 10th Lord, and in Dashamsa also he is in the 10th house, Artha Trikona will be better. Even though people think this is Saturn, this is Mercury, Venus, and this is Jupiter. They think index finger is Jupiter, middle finger is Saturn, ring finger is Sun, and little finger is Venus. That's what Mercury. That's what they normally say. But these are basically Dharma Artha Trikona, Kama Trikonas. Jupiter finger is Moksha, Saturn finger is Artha, Sun finger is Dharma, and Venus or Mercury finger is Kama. So don't look at the relationship. It's not really Saturn finger, it is Artha finger. And Sun is the one giving Artha in this chart. So wearing it on the middle finger will be, right hand middle finger will be the best thing to do. But ring finger is also okay.
So she was recommended for Rahu, because Rahu Dasha is running, that's why.
That's a great recommendation. Yeah, he is right, because Rahu is in the 8th house in Rashi chart. Forget about career; it has nothing to do with career. In the career also, actually, worshipping Durga or Chandi can own business later.
No, because if Rahu Mahadasha are running for a long time. Right?
It's running for a long time. So during this time, there is a chance of either losing job or giving up job to start a business. That is a possibility. So to make that smooth, worshipping Durga is not at all a bad idea. But more importantly, forget career now, because we concluded that the current crisis may be okay. Forgetting this, in the Rashi chart is in the 8th house. Rahu in the 8th house, is it good? It is always very bad. Rahu being in the 8th house is a bad placement. So worshipping, there can be some accidents or physical, suddenly some health complications, etc. Unexpected health complications. Those are quite possible. So from that point of view, worshipping Durga is a good idea. And Om Dum Durgaya Namah is a perfectly fine mantra. So his recommendation is good. We don't have to change it. So if he has to pick one god to worship, forget about Keri. She doesn't really need any worship relating to Keri. If she wants, she can do Aditya Hridayam for sun. Or Om Sum Suryaya Namaha. So some simple sun mantra is good for Keri. But the thing is, more than Keri, what she needs is the Dasha. Dasha running right now, she needs to take care of it physically. So for that, Durga is very good. So his recommendation is good. Only thing is, Ruby, he was wondering if it is a bad idea. It's not actually a bad idea. It's a good idea. He is Gentle Lord. He is Lagna Lord's friend. In the Samsa, he is Lagna Lord himself. In all ways, it is a good idea. So she can continue to wear. She can continue to wear. And moreover, moon is in Magha Nakshatra. Okay, from that point of view, it's not a good drink. But overall, it's a good drink to wear. Any other questions, comments? And one suggestion he can add to this is, he can suggest to her, you are running a good period that is conducive to having your own business. So instead of being in service, explore the possibility of floating your own business. You may actually do well. So that's one thing that he can suggest to her. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Anything else? Okay. Okay, we have a little time, so we'll see one more chart. You can give your chart.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, June 21st, 1990.
June 21st, 1990.
10:40 p.m.
10:40 p.m.
Hyderabad.
2:40 p.m. Male or female?
Male.
Male, Hyderabad. Yeah?
You want to say whether his name is Kanaka.
Kanaka?
Yeah.
Kanaka.
Yeah. That's all I know about it. So.
Okay. Oh, actually, I'll save in this folder. Okay.
So his parents are given to me this chart that they want to find out whether he will continue his studies. He just finished his undergraduate in India.
Okay, once again, let me say. Finished.
That's
What is the date today?
27.
November 22nd, 2010. Finished undergrad in India. In what?
In biotechnology.
Biotech. Good.
In the 2010 May he finished it.
Okay.
And he wanted it. He wrote an entrance exam for MSc and then.
Wrote entrance exam for MSc. Okay.
In the meantime, they offered him a job, so he joined a job.
Uh-huh.
And after a month later, he quit the job.
Uh-huh.
So the parents are concerned about whether he's going to stable or he was going back and forth. Now he doesn't want to do MS and he wants to come here. He asked an admission
Come here for job?
No, to study. Okay. So his job is given up, but because he doesn't like the job that they offered him.
So not interested in either job or MSc now?
Right.
But US in MS?
MS, yeah.
MS in US, okay.
So his parents are worried about whether he's going to continue or he's going to drop out or he's...
Okay.
So they are...
So what is the course of best
he doesn't want to do anything, but now he's here, he's enrolled into courses before he joined the program.
He's here and enrolled in courses.
Yeah, his program is starting in spring semester. Program is MS starting in spring semester. So,
okay.
And that's all I
But
know.
already enrolled in some courses.
Right.
Okay.
And all I know is he has a one older brother. That's all I know.
Okay, good. Enough. We'll figure out. Okay. So this young man finished undergraduate studies in biotechnology in India in 2010 May, and he wrote entrance exam for MSc, And before the results, he got a job and he joined the job. But 1 month later, he didn't like the job and he resigned. He left the job. And then he wasn't interested in MSc as well. Instead of doing MSc or a job in India, he wanted to come to US and do a master's. So he is already here, and his MS program is going to start in spring. So he has an admission. So he has an admission, and the MS program is going to start in spring. But coming spring.
Before he joined it, he wants to, again, he was saying that, okay, he'll go back to India, okay.
Huh?
He'll go back to, before,
Oh.
so that is what the bottom
He came here and he is enrolled in some courses, and his spring program, MS program is going to start in the spring, but he is now wondering whether he should go back to India.
Yeah, that's what the problem is, that's what the parents, whether he's going to stay or go back.
Yeah.
The reason he joined the courses is that the university messed up his admission.
Yeah.
And because of his paperwork didn't reach, that's what
In
they
time.
said, the scores, like the
Okay, his GRE and other scores didn't reach in time, so his admission was delayed. That's why he had to just take some courses and wait for the spring semester. Okay.
So now he wants to go back
So
to India.
fall semester, basically he was supposed to enroll in the MS program, but because the university messed up his application, he's just taking some courses. The actual program will start in spring.
Yeah, they will transfer the courses, that's what they said.
The apprentice will transfer the courses, but he is wondering whether he should go back. So there is a lot of confusion. Okay, we'll try to sort it out. Okay, let's go to Chaturvimshansya. Because we don't have any events based on which we can rectify, we'll just use what we already know. So
he's a very sharp, scores and everything very sharp, and he's top of the class. He came in.
Sharp kid, top of the class.
Even the courses he are doing is 2 courses are 4.0 so far.
2 courses here so far, and 4.0 out of 4.0. So he is doing well. When he is taking courses here, he is doing quite well. He is a very sharp person and somebody at the top of the class. Okay, let's see. In the D24, the leeway we have is 25 seconds later Lagna will change, 3 minutes 47 seconds earlier Lagna will change. So, even though it is given as Sagittarius in D24, it could be Capricorn, it could be Scorpio. More likely Scorpio, because it's just 25 seconds. The given time is 10:40. So, if it's 10:39, 30 or something, it will be Scorpio. So, let's see, does it make sense? Which one makes more sense? He is a very sharp person. Does it make sense with this? He is a very intelligent person in learning.
5th Lord in Lagna?
Yeah, 5th Lord is in Lagna, but with 8th Lord. 5th Lord is in Lagna, but with 8th Lord. But there is a lot of distance. Not lot, some distance. Actually, they are in the 12th house if you look at the longitudes. What is this?
26. Mars 12. Yep.
Okay. So, 5th Lord and 8th Lord together in Lagna are 12th house. And Lagna Lord Jupiter is in Manakarka Sthana. Or actually not really, he is in the second house. But does it really show a smart person? And how about Capricorn or Scorpio? Which one explains what we know better? What do you think? Which one explains what we know better? Sagittarius, Scorpio or Capricorn? What do you think?
Scorpio is 3 minutes back, sir.
Yeah, it can easily be 5 minutes off. And if they say 10:40, it doesn't have to be 10:40, it may be 10:35. People may be sleeping and they may have woken up and noted the time 10:40. In 5-10 minutes error we do see. So, it is possible. But the question is not that. Does it explain things? That's what we are looking for. And his basic education was very good. If the Lagna is Sagittarius, fourth lord is Jupiter. And he is in the second house, in an inimical sign. Would it explain excellent basic education? Would it?
He's also still the Lagna Lord.
Yeah, I know. He's Lagna Lord, overall education and fourth lord, the basic education. And he is not well placed. So overall this person is not great in education and doesn't do that great in early education, right?
Well, if it were to be Capricorn, then
Yeah.
fourth Lord
Would be Mars. He would be in the 12th house. In a friendly sign, but he is in the 12th house.
which means away from parents. Did he maybe away from parents and maybe away from where he? So did he study away from his parents, or he still can show good
Basic education, I mean?
Yeah.
No, he stayed at home.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that a
Yeah, that's logical. Now what else? Some yoga has to be there, right? Suppose Lagna was Scorpio, let's see. Not Capricorn but Scorpio. Time was back by 4 minutes. 10:36. And then Scorpio.
No, I thought that Scorpio Lagna will be 24 seconds, right?
No.
Scorpio is 3 minutes.
3 minutes 47 seconds earlier. 25 seconds later it will change. You see. So if you take Scorpio, the fourth lord will be
Rahu, Shani and Rahu.
Shani and Rahu. There are two lords of the fourth house of education. Shani and Rahu. How are they placed?
Shani is in the 9th house.
Shani is?
Let us change it.
Shani is in the 9th house. So,
D24.
yeah. So Saturn will be in the 9th house and Rahu, Ketu are in the 8th house. But the thing is, one lord of the 4th house of education is in a trine. So that is auspicious. But more importantly, there is some fundamental strength in the chart. That is, the trine lords are all well placed. One trine lord is in a quadrant, Jupiter. He is the 5th lord. He is in a quadrant. And even though he is in an inimical sign, but Lagna Lord is the overall strength of the chart, right? Lagna Lord Mars is a friendly sign with 9th Lord Moon. So both the Lagna Lord and 9th Lord, two trine lords, are together in Jupiter's house, in a friendly sign. So there is a good Chandramangal Yoga and a Raj Yoga between them. Right? So that is very auspicious. The Moon Mars combination. So that is one thing. The
Moon and Mars are actually. Do we consider the longitude aspects of, because Moon and Mars will be actually inside in the Lagna?
No. If you I see. Right. Because you go to the end of they will be in the first house. That is even better. So they are in a friendly sign. Lagna Lord, 9th Lord in Lagna, in first house.
And Saturn will go to the 8th house.
Huh?
Saturn will then go to the 8th house.
Saturn may be in the 8th house, right? Yes. So Saturn may be in the 8th house, depending on the longitude.
29 degrees.
Yeah, he is a 28-degree Cancer, right?
Which means he's...
So, yeah, but if the Lagna in Scorpio is below 28, he may still be in the 9th house.
Okay.
So it is possible to find a time so that Saturn is in the 9th house. But Moon and Mars, because they are at the beginning of the sign, right? 2 degree, 3 degree and 12 degree, they will be in first house. Saturn can be in the 9th house. So, basically the Lagna Lord, 9th Lord and 5th Lord are very well placed. So, there is a fundamental strength in the chart. So, when there is fundamental strength in the chart, other things basically will follow. It is like if you have a nice house, even if one room is a little dirty, still house has an appeal. Whereas if the house is looks very bad and very old and everything broken down, even if there is a beautiful room inside, it doesn't basically, nobody will come into that room. Like that, if the 4th Lord, even if he is okay, if the overall strength is not there, Lagna is weak, Lagna Lord is weak, no yogas of any note, it is unlikely that the person will be an achiever in education. Right? So if you take the Scorpio Lagna, maybe around 27 degrees Scorpio as the Lagna, then what will happen is, there is a very powerful Rajoga given by Moon and Mars in the first house. Very powerful chart then. The chart will become extremely powerful. And the Dasha that was running,
Rahu Dasha.
until now is Rahu Dasha, okay. Let's go to the D24 Narayan Dasha. Let's quickly check the Narayan Dasha of D24. So last 10 years, he was running Libra Dasha. Right now he is running Virgo Dasha, but he was running Libra Dasha earlier. Libra is a Sishodaya Rasi. In the first one third it will give its own results. Second one third it will give Lord results. Right? And then last one third it will give the aspectus results. Who are aspecting it? Only Venus and Jupiter. So Venus and Jupiter results will be given. So 7th Lord and the 5th Lord. So basically the last 2/3 of the Libra Dasha is a good Dasha. Last 2/3. And now he is running what Dasha? What Dasha is he running?
Virgo.
Yeah. One second. So how is Virgo Dasha? It is the 11th house. First one third will give its own results. Right? And then it will give, first one third will give its own results, second one third will give aspectus results, and third one third will give its Lord, Mercury results. Now, aspectus results, Rahu Ketu, when they come, there can be some problem. But Ketu is Lagna Lord, he is fine. In the 8th house, he will give good changes. Rahu, being the 4th Lord in the 8th house, he is so-so. So when Rahu's period comes, he has to be careful. Otherwise, when Moon and Mars aspect give the results, things should be fine. And when Virgo itself gives the results, being the 11th house, it will give good results. So first one third will be good. In the second one third, most of it will be good, but there will be a small period that is of concern. So overall, the outlook is the coming few years seem okay from the point of view of education. Now, let's go back to the Vimshottari Dasha. If you go to Vimshottari Dasha, in the Vimshottari Dasha, what is the Dasha running right now? Rahu, right?
Right.
Rahu, Venus.
Yeah. Okay. So in the Rahu Dasha, in D24, where is Rahu? Is he in the longitude wise? Yeah, he'll be in the, not in the 8th house, he'll be in the 7th house. So Rahu is in the 7th house in D24. And he is the 4th Lord. So being the 4th Lord in his Dasha, he gave some basic education. All the basic education that happened until now, right? That was in Rahu Dasha because he is the 4th Lord. And then, why did he give bachelor education? Why did Rahu give bachelor education? Why did Rahu give bachelor's education? Does it have anything to do with 9th house? Tell me. What does Rahu have to do with the 9th house that he gave his Dasha? Of course, if you look at Andhra Dasha, maybe it will make more sense when he did bachelor. But even Dasha should have some role, right? So what was it in the Rahu Dasha that made him do bachelor's education in this period? Tell me. How do you see bachelor's education?
9th house, sir.
Yeah, 9th house. So what is Rahu's link with the 9th house?
With A9,
Huh?
Rahu is with A9, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the only link I see.
The 4th house, it's also Saturn.
Hmm?
4th house lordship is also Saturn. I was...
Who is the 9th lord?
Moon.
Yeah?
Oh, yes.
Who's with the Mars?
He has the aspect of connection.
Rahu is at 7 degrees Gemini and Moon is at 2 degrees Sagittarius. So if you look at 7th house from Rahu, it will start at 7 degrees. If you look at the 7th house from Rahu, it will start at 7 degrees Sagittarius and go, you are basically counting backwards. So it will go from 7 degrees Sagittarius
7 degrees
to 7 degrees Scorpio.
So,
So he is actually in the 6th house.
Moon.
Yeah. From Rahu.
Hmm.
So Rahu is not really aspecting Moon, but the thing is Moon is aspecting Rahu. If you look at aspect of Moon on who is being aspected by Moon? Moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius has probably, if you look at the aspects, it will be 90% aspect or so. There will be around 90% aspect on Rahu. So the 9th lord is aspecting Rahu. That is one thing. And the other thing is, if you look from A9, how is Rahu placed?
12.
He is in the 12th house from A9. Right?
Yep.
If Rahu is in the 12th house from A9, is it good or bad? What are the results we set for Arudhas and planets? For Saturn and Rahu, being in the 12th house of an Arudha is a Rajoga for that Arudha. So if Rahu is placed in an Arudha, he will ruin it. But if he is placed away from it, in the 12th house from it, he will basically make it flourish. So that's what we said for Arudha Lagna, right? The same applies to our Arudhas. So from A9 of bachelor education, Rahu is in the 9th house, 12th house. So he will give Rajoga for A9. So he can not only give bachelor education to the person, but make him do well, if it happens in his dasha. But yes, go ahead.
The Saturn lordship, Saturn is also the co-lord of 4th. He is in the 9th. There is a 4th-9th connection.
Yeah.
And Rahu acting...
In Rahu period, you are saying Rahu can give Saturn results.
Just a bit of, he will show a hint of Saturn.
Yes. That is also fine, yes.
That means he has to struggle for it, right? It makes you work hard.
That basically means he will be giving the 9th house results, which is he will be giving the undergraduate education. And because it is he has to give it in Rahu's own way, which will be path breaking and the 10th lordship and the 9th lordship also is Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to derive it from reverse, at least for now, sir.
Yeah.
Biotechnical is Moon, life sciences, a bit of life sciences.
Mm-hmm.
So Moon is involved,
Yeah.
and a lot of path breaking stuff is there.
Yeah.
So it's not regular engineering or regular stuff. It is something irregular.
Right.
So I was trying to come at it.
Yeah.
That aspect.
So basically, there is Rahu Ketu influence on Moon, and there is also Mars influence on Moon. Mars shows again high tech, etc. So there is Mars influence, but basically the basic planet is Moon. So it can show some kind of life sciences. And Saturn is also there Saturn in the 9th house or 8th house?
If you consider 29 Scorpio, he will be in the
I see. So we don't know for sure, so let's leave that. Now the thing is, the master's education also is commencing in Rahu Dasha. Right? What is Rahu's link on master's education? Can Rahu give master's education? Actually, is there a strong chance of master's education in this chart?
It will be. Ninth lord is in
master's education is seen from which house?
Second house, sir.
Second house.
But the connection between ninth lordship and second, he is in the second house.
Is he in the second house? He is actually in the first house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ninth lord is in the first house. But the thing is, he is in a sign of Jupiter, and Jupiter is the second lord.
And his dispositor is Rahu.
Yes. So ninth lord moon has a link with Rahu, and second lord Jupiter is in Rahu's house. So there is a connection between the two, but apart from it, is the master's education is guaranteed, because Jupiter is the second lord. He is basically well placed. In this chart, if you look at Jupiter, where is he placed?
Third.
Actually, he is placed in the third house. Jupiter is actually, again, depending on if you subtract a few more seconds, he will be in the fourth house. So we don't know for sure if he's in the third house or fourth house. But the thing is, he is a benefic. Jupiter is a benefic for this chart. Moreover, he is the dispositor of a Rajayoga between Lagna Lord and ninth lord. Lagna Lord, ninth lord Rajayoga is also known as Lakshmi Yoga. For that yoga, he is the dispositor. Being the dispositor of a yoga, he is a good planet basically in this chart. And he is a friend of Mars. So, and he is in Rahu's house. So, in Rahu Dasha, because Jupiter is in Rahu's house and Rahu is aspecting Jupiter. Rahu and Jupiter are in mutual trines. So, Rahu and Jupiter are aspecting each other and Jupiter is in Rahu's house. So, Rahu can give Jupiter results. So, in this period, the chance of doing master's education is perfectly there. And what kind of master's education is likely?
Once again, moon.
Yeah, he is doing the same field.
Right, he's doing. Because there is a continuity. There is a continuity in the between ninth and second. It is possible that he will do in the same. Now the thing is, there are some obstacles temporarily, right? This year there were obstacles. Why? Let us take the Tithi Pravesh chart. Before we do that, let's actually look at the Prachanda Dasha. He is running Rahu Dasha, Venus Antardasha. Right? The Prachanda Dasha that is running right now is that of Venus. So Venus is causing some problems. Venus is causing some problems. And why? What house is Venus in?
10th house.
10th or 9th? He is in the 10th house. We don't know for sure actually. He may be in 10th or 9th. But the bottom line is, he doesn't have much to do with the second house. And even though he aspects the second lord, he is an enemy of second lord. And taking the second house as Lagna, second house of master's education as Lagna, he is a malefic. He is the 6th and 11th lord.
Yeah.
So he is a functional malefic for master's education, second house, and he is aspecting the Lagna lord. So it's like 6th lord aspecting Lagna lord effectively, right? Taking the second Sagittarius as Lagna, Lagna lord Jupiter is being very closely aspected by the 6th lord, a malefic. So he can give problems in that master's education. So Venus Antardasha, Venus Prachanda Dasha had to delay a little bit. It created obstacles, just like 6th house. But the thing is, the next Prachanda Dasha will be, of course, Antardasha will be that of Venus, but hopefully, the whole Antardasha will not be problematic because Mahadasha is conducive. Once the right Prachanda Dasha comes, it can basically be set right. The next Prachanda Dasha, is it conducive for master studies starting? Sun Prachanda Dasha, in January, March time frame. How is Sun placed in the D24? He is in?
Second house.
Second house. Sun is in second house, in Vargottam. Forget Vargottam. We don't talk about it. But if you talk, basically he is in. If you take Siddhamsha and further Navamsha in it, he is in Vargottam. So, Sun is in the second house. So, a planet in the second house. And is he a benefic or malefic? Well, he is a 10th lord. And 10th lord Sun is not really malefic according to Parasara. So, he is either neutral or slightly benefic.
I was just looking at the master's education.
Okay, taking the perfect, that is even more important. They've done the native himself, actual studies. Second house taking it as Lagna, he is the ninth lord in Lagna. So good, well placed or ill placed? Well placed. The only problem is he is in a inimical sign. That's the only problem. Otherwise, so there will be something undesirable still, it will not be perfect. But apart from it, it's very, very nice. Ninth lord. So compared to Venus Prachanda Dasha, Sun Prachanda Dasha should be
good,
quite smooth.
Moon will be better.
And the moon coming too after that.
Yeah. Moon is fine too. Moon is a Yokarka. Moon and Mars are, in general, irrespective of which education you are talking about, they are Yokarkas. In their periods, education will reach new levels. I mean, he will enjoy what he is studying. He will do well, he will get recognition. It is a good period. Okay. So the bottom line is,
He will continue his master's.
my feeling is there is a good chance of master studies, and that time period from around January 7 or so, plus minus a couple of weeks, around basically the spring semester time. So that time till March is a very good time. So and coming year basically is approximately a good year. So it's a good idea. And if you look at D10, let's quickly look at D10. In D10, the Lagna is Pisces. Rahu Dasha is running right now. Rahu is he good for career? Well, he's okay. He's the 12th Lord in the 11th house. Right? 12th Lord, is he good? 12th Lord in the 11th house or which house? He's in the 11th house. 12th Lord in the 11th house. It's okay. He's not great. 12th Lord will give losses, etc. He doesn't really show starting career. Moreover, he is afflicting 10th Lord Jupiter. On the other hand, Jupiter Dasha, it's a great Dasha for career. So the thing is, Rahu being with Jupiter, the 10th Lord, he may start the career. But the thing is, it will be Jupiter Dasha that will be awesome for career. So my gut feeling, my reading is, after 2016, career will be really good. I'm not saying career will not start until then, but do whatever studies you want to do. Doctorate, postdoctoral, whatever, master's, doctorate, whatever you want to do, engage in all the studies in the Rahu period, and once your Jupiter Dasha comes, irrespective of what you studied, what you did not study, which lines you went into, Jupiter Dasha will be good for career. So there's no hurry to start career in a rush at this point of time.
Rahu Ketu has given him career, and Rahu is actually aspecting fifth house. Fifth house, Ketu is in fifth house in D10. That might show there is fifth house connection
Right.
Rahu and Ketu.
So that period did show career, but my take is, so Rahu is in the 11th house and he is aspecting the fifth house, so he can give career. But the thing is, and of course right now Rahu, Venus is running, and Venus is, see, Rahu Venus actually started in 2010 July. So I don't know when he started this job, but 2010 July Venus Antardasha started. Venus is the 3rd and 8th Lord. So he won't show stable career. So even though Rahu Ketu is good, like you said, Rahu Venus until 2013 July, from 2010 July till 2013 July, doesn't show a stable career.
He was started before July.
In
June or May, June.
Yeah. So the thing is, on July 9, Venus Antardasha started. So probably, or it could be plus minus 2 weeks. Probably what happened is, as soon as Venus Antardasha started, he just stopped. Because he is very bad. He is 3rd and 8th Lord, afflicting Lagna Lord and 10th Lord. So he is not conducive to having a smooth career. Actually, affliction is quite close. Jupiter is at 25 degree Capricorn, Venus is at 24 degree Capricorn in Capricorn. Both of them are 1 degree or 1.5 degree apart. So it's a very close affliction. So no wonder Venus Antardasha spoiled the career. So instead of trying to pursue career in that Antardasha, it's better to study.
Yeah, his intention is to go to the research start, or he wants to do PhD. That's what he said.
That's a great idea. In my opinion, wait till Jupiter Dasha comes before you start your career. Let Rahu Antardasha be dedicated to research. Let's say do masters, PhD, whatever you can. As soon as 2016 and so basically 2017, from 2017 onwards, Jupiter Dasha comes, he will have a smooth career. So there's no need to worry. So my suggestion is study and be patient, focus on the studies.
But
And the fact that,
yeah, go ahead.
and let's quickly look at Chaturthamsha. In Chaturthamsha, right now Rahu Venus Dasha is starting, right? Rahu Venus Antardasha is running. Venus is the 9th Lord, and Rahu is aspecting the 9th house. So being abroad makes sense. So my suggestion is, don't think of going back to India. Some mess happened, but it can be cleared. So stay here, because both the dasha and antardasha are conducive to staying here. So stay here and pursue studies. Do masters and PhD here. He should do fine. He will be good in studies and he'll have a decent career. And the thing is, Jupiter is affected by Venus, right? In Dashamsha, right? And Rahu is also, is he close? He is also close. So Jupiter is affected by Rahu and Venus. So there is a Guru Chandal Yoga. But the thing is, in another way, if you look at it another way, it shows unconventional things, unconventional career. In another way is, Rahu is the karaka for things that are unconventional and cutting edge things. And Venus owns the 8th house. 8th is again it shows unearthing the hidden things, etc. It shows research. 8th house is for research and Rahu is for research. So 8th Lord and Rahu are with Jupiter. So this can show a career in research.
Venus is 8th Lord in which chart?
Dashamsha, career. Venus is the 8th Lord and Rahu is the karaka for research. So Lord of the house of research and the karaka of research are with Jupiter. And he is debilitated and he is giving Guru Chandal Yoga. He is badly placed there. So it can show really cutting edge, very modern, very unconventional kind of research is definitely a possibility in that combination. Moreover, that Guru Chandal Yoga can show basically, literally it is supposed to show Hatya, that kind of things. And that Guru Venus Rahu combination can show some sinful surroundings, sinful actions. But the thing is, some of the modern biotech research does happen in sinful environments. Moreover, Ketukan is a sign of Kali. It is a very sign of Gohar Kali. So in that sign, he is with Rahu and Venus. Basically, Daman and Daman teacher. He is with them in a demonical sign. So basically what it means is very cutting edge, very modern kind of research. That is, morally speaking, sinful, but very liberal basically. So maybe stem cells. I don't want to basically go into specific, but we don't know what will be the things going on 10 years from now. But you will be on the cutting edge of biotechnology. So it's a great idea to do research and have a research-oriented career. So study and good luck.
Okay, thank you.
And who can he worship? Who is a good planet to worship? Well, he is running Rahu Dasha, so Durga is always a good idea. But apart from it, if you look at that Rashi chart, Venus is a Yokaraka for this chart. And he is the 4th Lord. And he is the 4th Lord in the 4th house. Giving the, actually he is not really in the 4th house, but he is 4th Lord in one sign. So, for education in general, he is a good planet. And he is the current Antardasha Lord. So right now, praying to Lakshmi, like Lakshmi Ashtotra will be good. For the next 3 years, I say praying to Lakshmi will be good. In general in life, praying to Lakshmi will give him yoga. And whatever little weakness is there of being a malefic in the Dashamsha, it will be removed. So praying to Lakshmi and secondly Durga is a good idea for him. But overall, he will have a good career and good luck to him. Nothing to worry. Okay. So all the best.